Well, all right. Yes.
Ha-ha!
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
This thing gone.
It's Friday. It is Friday, isn't
Yeah.
All right, there we go. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Feel Good Friday, I think. Already getting some good mornings in the house. What's going on, Pops? Good morning. Oh, wow, it's Friday again. Mad love from Vegas.
Hey.
Wanda Lewis gives us a good morning. Good morning to you, Miss Lewis. How are you? Feeling great. Feeling good. How are you? All right. Friday, September 23rd, 2022.
22.
It's going down. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
That's right. Paul Beee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you, chat timers. It's a Friday. We got stuff going on today.
Man. Tell us what's the haps, y'all.
Yeah, man. What is the haps? What is happening?
Man. Speaking of what's happening, we're going to get into what's happening with me. Appreciate everybody checking on Paul. Yeah. Appreciate everybody checking on Paul. But I was the reason we couldn't do the show on Wednesday, man. I give you the scoop here in a second.
Yeah. It's all good, man. You know, the fam understands.
Man. Yeah, we have a unique audience, man. We love and appreciate y'all, man.
That's real. What's up, Ron's Reviews? He said, I saw you and him walking in the rain.
Hey.
Holding hands, and I'll never be the same. Right on.
Yeah, man. Now, right on.
We're on this rainy Omaha morning. That's what it is. That's what's going on.
No, it's moist out there today.
Still moist.
Man, it's been hot out here, man. Steaming.
Uh-oh. That ain't no good.
Yeah, man.
I mean, y'all trying to hold on to summer a little bit longer than us, I guess.
It's a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't play. I turned the heat on this morning. I don't play.
You see how my fan going.
Tale of Two Cities. Vaughn Chapman gives us a good morning with some sunshine. What's happening?
Okay.
Brooke Allen gives us a good morning. How you doing, sis? Hey. Good morning to you. Yes, Friday, September 23rd, 2022. How many is looking forward to the weekend out here? Is that still a thing? Are you ready to get looser? Everybody I know works all through the weekend, so I don't know.
Yeah, man. Well, I'll be working this weekend, but should be fun. Should be a good time.
Good times, okay. Pop says, "Oh man, I wish I was there. I love Omaha rain. I do too, but it lasts like 5 minutes, man. Like I'd be like, okay, this is gonna be a rainy day today. All right. 15 minutes later, the sun be out. You know what I'm saying?
It's that bipolar weather.
I guess, man. I don't know what's going on with it. Yeah, it don't last no more, Pops. It don't last. Like seriously, it'll be. Yeah, man. Say what? Okay. I don't get that code.
I had to do it. Say yes or no.
Oh. I was looking at the her. I did hear that. I sure did. I heard.
Let us know if we are sounding clear. We're kind of hearing some tech stuff on the mic. Just let us know. Just do a check. I try to ask Paul. He doesn't know what's going on.
Hey, you gotta spell here. You gotta spell here right. I'm looking around like did I do what to her? What you talking about? Good morning, Amy Huffless gives us a good morning. What's happening? Vaughn Chapman says climate change is real. You ain't lying about that,
man.
It seems like it changes by the minute around here too. So we don't know what's going on.
Man, it's raining. Let's just hope it don't flood.
I mean, lucky that it doesn't rain all day long. We'd be underwater around here for real.
Yeah, especially if you got to slide through Saddle Creek,
Well, good morning, all. Once again, she said, "I hear y'all fine."
see.
I heard y'all. Okay.
Oh man.
Nice one, Amy.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that.
See, the chat timers get it, man. That's why we love y'all. That's why we appreciate y'all. Y'all
I
get
was like,
it,
do you her thought? Is she who we calling the thought? First of all, and who
man.
is her? I was all over the place with that. It's too early, man, for codes. Just you got to speak plainly this morning to me.
Man, okay.
Uh,
Do we sound clear? Do you hear any static or anything?
Shout out
Let us
to
know.
speaking of sounding clear. Shout out to the live channel over here, the radio channel 630 Club. Let me know how we sounding over there, because of course the radio channel was having some issues this morning too. So it
Man,
is what it is. Could be the rain. Who knows? Friday, September 23rd, though. Right now, 2022. How you doing? We were not here Wednesday, but there's a lot to catch up on and talk about today, this Friday, and also there's a couple guests coming on today too.
yeah.
Should be a really good show, actually. So really looking forward to that. Pop says climate change is yet another problem that Trump contributed to. We're blaming the
Okay.
climate on Trump. I like it.
All right.
Christy Nor gives us a good morning. Appreciate you joining us this morning as well.
Top of the
We
morning
had
to you.
we had a talk yesterday about the chat chimers, and we love how we know who's gonna come in and say hi first in the morning, and you guys are really the co-hosts. You guys are really the co-hosts, man. So
The
we love it.
fam, man.
Fam, and the success around anything that we're doing is really built around the fact that you guys are consistently coming through to have consistent conversations about the topics, and something else that we really are vibing on right now too is the fact that can you go anywhere else and chime into a chat where you have such sophisticated answers and researched stuff and stuff you guys fact check for us? And normally, if you go to a website and a Channel 7 or Omaha World Herald, you get a bunch of nothing in the chat, a bunch of people, a bunch of racist people just spouting off. Here we
Man.
have very intelligent chat because you guys are really like co-hosts. So can't thank you enough for helping us build what we got here. This is a conversation that is all about us coming up with intelligent solutions to the issues that affect our communities and doing something about it. So just a special appreciation to the chat chimers and the ghost listeners as well. Ghost listeners are very important too. If the stuff gets hot enough, y'all come out the ghost closet and jump on the chat and say something. I've seen it happen a couple times where y'all thought you were just gonna sit back and listen, but you had to jump in and say something, and you have the ability to do that. So that's what's up. I love it.
Yeah, man. Definitely appreciate the chat chimers. Beyond that, you keep us honest. You keep us on our toes.
Yep.
So yeah, it's definitely a relationship that we hope to see grow and continue. And appreciate everybody who's a part of it. So top of the morning to everybody. As Paul mentioned, we do have a few guests coming through. We do have a bunch of topics to dive into as well.
Yep.
But wanted to dive into a little story time. Is that okay? Is that okay?
Story time. Story time. Story time.
Yeah, man. So again, weren't here on Wednesday. I had to deal with my car. I kind of explained the situation on Monday when my radiator hose burst, and then the car started overheating on me yet again. So had to drive out to the interstate and meet with the tow truck and deal with that in the morning.
So you playing it low. If you broke down on the interstate with the kids in the car, that's huge. That's big. That's
Yeah,
big.
man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Had to pull over to the side. Luckily, I was able to pull over to the side. If you know anything about Atlanta traffic or Atlanta's interstate system or Spaghetti Junction specifically, it's about like 10 different highways going everywhere. Each one about 7 different lanes. So very chaotic. But yeah, was able to pull over to the side and had to leave it on the road overnight and go ahead and get it in the morning before I got towed and repoed.
All right, we're gonna need
Yeah,
a couple of electric cars here pretty soon. I'm just saying,
man,
get on the cutting edge. Got to get on the cutting edge. So glad you okay, and yes, man. Hopefully you get the car situation together. I was talking to Pops about it. We were laughing about the many years we have both had to deal with some car situations.
yeah.
I'm at the point now where I don't want to deal with it, bro. I'm like I will just go ahead and pay the high monthly rate of being able to go in there and start that car up and not have no issues. And sometimes it's like something shifted with me, like my stress level about whether or not I can deal with a car problem changed. And it was like, nope, not gonna reserve any more raggedy car. We're not gonna reserve that you know I will shift the whole vibe on this. Like, I will put my worry into something else, and this thing is, I don't want to even think about it. Get in, turn the car on, and go. Like, if I gotta
Man,
do any more than that, if I gotta do any more than put some gas in the car, then I don't want to deal with it. So
definitely with the way gas prices been working lately. Yeah, you gotta think twice. Gotta think
gotta
twice.
think twice.
Yeah, man. So everything is everything though. The
Yeah.
kids were all right. The babies are all right on the side of the interstate, and we made it home. So got to deal with that pretty much for the day. But need my transportation because this weekend we'll be at the Revolt Summit.
Hey,
For those who might not know, Revolt TV, the network started by the one and only P. Diddy, Sean Diddy Combs, whatever you want to call him, Puffy. Do they still call him Puffy?
Generation X call him Puffy, Puff Daddy.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, he's created a pretty successful platform, man. Revolt TV. They will be having, I don't know what year this is, but they will be having their summit.
Yeah.
A lot of tech talk, a lot of culture talk, a lot of finance, music, art. So yeah, I'll try my best to cover it and bring you guys some good content next week.
It's basically a black channel. It's a whole black channel.
Yeah.
They got news. They got shows like Drink Champs that is hugely popular.
Yeah.
So they're behind a lot. So check out Revolt TV when you get a chance too as well. I like what Von Chapman is saying. A raggedy ride is better than a dressed up walk.
I don't know, man. The way I'm feeling, I might hop on the bike.
Okay.
Put one of them car seats on the bike,
There you go. Well, at least you ain't in Omaha where bike lanes is getting shut down by the mayor.
Ooh, yeah. We'll definitely dive into that. Speaking of that, let's go ahead and dive into the stories. I do have a bunch to talk about today. We'll definitely dive into that situation with the mayor switching up a little bit, or not necessarily switching up. We kind of, I would say this is not a surprise, but definitely taking no time to snatch out the protected bike lane known as the market. What was it? Was it Mike to Market?
I don't know.
Route. Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it, especially for my bike riders. Also, man, yeah, because we got some money to follow and we have some hearings to recap. Definitely the Ernest Jackson hearing, which again came to an unsurprising end. So we'll definitely talk about that. Also, definitely want to recap and hear about anybody who went to the economic recovery hearings that happened throughout the week. There were multiple this week. So again, if anyone was able to make it, would definitely love to hear your take on that situation. Big shout out to the dynamic duo, Senators Justin Wayne and Terrell McKinney. Put some respect on their names. So we'll definitely recap that. The website is also launched, so we'll take a look at that. Also, following the money, $20 million increase to OPS's spending. Hopefully, we'll get some answers and get a glimpse into what they're planning to do with that. But we'll have that conversation again. And also, speaking of the schools, property taxes going up. I know we have a few chat chimers who own some property, talking about their impact and what their experience is with property taxes going up. So we'll definitely love to hear more of those stories. So let us know how you're being impacted by property taxes. And then also we do have a few special guests. We have documenters. So Abbie Kretz, is that? Yep, from Documenters program coming in. Again, a few of the chat chimers show some interest with that, so we'll be able to give you a little bit more information. And then we also have the lawyer of brother Ernest Jackson coming in to give us more insight on the hearing that took place earlier this week. So again, a lot to catch up with, a lot to talk about. Let's go ahead and get this thing rolling. 15 minutes into the hour. Paul, Beee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, the squad, the chat chimers, all of you. Let's go.
Let's do it. What up? What up? What up? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All Beee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you, the co-hosts, the chat chimers. Really appreciate you guys coming on in the chat already. Amy Huffless is saying, seriously, this seems like the only place safe to read the comments, which is what we were talking about the other day, man. Yeah, especially in the news world, it's a ridiculous thing. They're not even using their chat right. It's just ridiculous. So shout out to us that to figure out how to respectfully speak and have conversations in the chat. That's what it's all about. Shout out to Von Chapman, who says climate change is real, but don't ask the mayor of Omaha. Right. Also, Rome's review says going to the drive-in tonight, Friday the 13th, 1 and 7 showing from dusk until dawn. Okay. Is it Friday the 13th? Okay. No, it ain't 13th. What is Friday something? The 23rd, I think.
Yeah, it's the 23rd.
That's what's up. You're gonna go see Friday the 13th. All right, that's what's up.
1 through 7.
Say again.
1 through 7.
All of them. Is there 7 Friday the 13th now? Wow, that's crazy. Is a homegirl Jamie Lee Curtis still in them?
Yeah, she's still going. Still going.
Dang. Okay. Von Chat
still running.
She's still running from that fool. Okay. Stacey Jean says, "Good morning, First Sky Omaha family and friends. Got some rain coming down, a little purple rain happening outside. I do love a rainy morning, man. I hope it sticks around a little bit." Kimmer Snipes gives us a good morning over on YouTube. Appreciate that. She says, "Can't have a bike lane and a streetcar. We can't have a new mutual without the streetcar. The hot mess."
Oh, man.
She says she had a great meeting with Abbie this week. That's what's up. Abbie Kretz that's coming on a little bit later on from the Documenters program. Carolyn Jack gives us a good morning. What's up for Purple Fam? She said, happy Friday. Appreciate that. Pop says, sorry you had to go through that, buddy. Glad you're okay. Remember, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Or just gets on your nerves. That's what I say. What doesn't kill you just gets on your nerves. Stacey Jean says, Jamie Lee Curtis from the Halloween franchise. Exactly. Yeah. Stacey Jean put a post up that I jacked for the show today. She cut this out. This is the Nebraska election key dates that are going on. Appreciate you cutting that out for us. We wanted to put it up, and we'll figure out how to do it a little bit more, tech savvy with the ticker going by with some deadlines and all that. We'll figure it out at some point.
We'll clean it up.
All we really need is the dates. So we appreciate that. We are in election season right now. We got a lot to talk about when it comes to that for sure. Wanda Lewis says, I believe the bike lanes were put in place only to be accessible later for the streetcar, paid parking, etc. Ooh, that's a theory. That's what's up. Kimmer Snipes says, last time I saw her in the neighborhood, she was running against Heath Mello and on the verge of getting beat. Who are you talking about? You talking about Abbie? I'm not sure who you're talking about there. Oh no, I skipped one that she did earlier. She says went to the $50 million announcement yesterday for Southside. That's the second time I've seen the mayor in the neighborhood. Too bad it took $50 million to get her here. Woo! She said last time I saw her was in the neighborhood. She was running against Heath Mello on the verge of getting beat. Very interesting how what they come out for and what they speak up for. It's really, really interesting. With that said, we can keep on going, but we really, really appreciate everybody that's showing up this morning. Got lots to talk about today. And this is a good day for you to go ahead and share the show if you're not already doing that for us. If you're on Facebook, share the show. Let's get as many people on here as we can because we got 2 very important guests coming on that you really want to hear from. They're going to be doing some big work, and they're already doing some big work. And also the last thing I want to say is anybody who went to these economic meetings, we definitely want to hear from you. I know that some of the chat chimers went to some of these meetings, some of these days. Want to hear from you firsthand what your thoughts were about this as well. So if you're here in the chat at the moment, then get ready to give us a little bit of rundown about what happened here. We'll talk about what came of it, and of course we'll try to have the senators on again to talk about how those talks went very soon. So in the meantime, between time, buddy, what's going on with you right now?
While we're getting into Mayor Starter, let's go ahead and start right there.
Okay, we can do that.
Is that all right? Again, talking about the bike lanes and also the climate action plan, which is of interest. Omaha Mayor Jean Stothert again won't nix fully the resolution or officially nix the resolution she passed by the Omaha City Council expressing support for a protected bike lane in the downtown corridor, or as we like to call Tiff Alley. Stalter did announce Thursday, though, that the city won't extend the pilot program for, again, the existing protected bike lane, which was set to end on September 30th. So about a week from today, the decision means that the bollard separating cyclists and vehicles will come out almost immediately in downtown Omaha, will be left without a protected bike lane, at least for the time being, making the trek to work for some just a tad bit more dangerous. Stothard also announced that she won't veto a recently passed resolution addressing the development of a climate action plan. However, the mayor didn't sign the two resolutions, which means that she kind of disagrees with their intent. And the city first opened its protected bike lane known as the Market to Midtown. That's what it's called. Again, Market to Midtown Bikeway in July of 2021. The 2-mile two-way lane is protected by ballards, which set between the curb and parallel parking spaces. It runs from Harney, from 10th Street to Turner Boulevard. Apparently, it was a part of an 18-month pilot program, which Mayor Stalter says did provide city officials with enough data for an evaluation. She says that there will be further decisions based on this, and there may be other lanes that go from east to west to consider the safest and most accessible location for a permanent protected bikeway. Now, some in the chat did mention the connection between the bike lanes and the possible streetcar situation, which the streetcar authority did approve a route concept for the streetcar this week, just in time, quite interestingly, for the announcement. A portion of the route would see streetcars running east along Harney Street. So there might have been some conflict with the routes as far as the streetcar, and also in regards to bike lanes and streetcars existing parallel or simultaneously. Starter cited issues in Seattle where she says cyclists have been injured or even killed in some instances after their bike tires got stuck in a streetcar track. Now, I kind of find that a little extreme, for example, but I guess it can happen. I guess it can happen. Those incidents apparently have led to a number of lawsuits brought against the city. So again, apparently she's trying to save the city a few dollars. But again, also in this announcement, we can't forget her lackadaisical or even non-existent support of a pilot program or a climate change action plan, which again, I've been calling for at least some flood mitigation, which hopefully will be included in that action plan. But again, it does not seem like there's a consensus between the mayor and city council.
Interesting. Kimra Snipes in the chat says we're working on a response for the city about the bike lane. I'm on the board for mode shift. It was a typical city process. They didn't communicate with people and just doing what she wants. Brother Muhammad gives us an assalamu alaikum family. How you doing? Good morning.
Alaikum salam, brother.
She said if she's worried about lawsuits against the city, she might want to have a talk with her chief of police. Ooh. Bringing some old stuff up.
Bringing the heat.
What Wanda Lewis said earlier, man, really had me intrigued. She says, I believe the bike lanes were put in place only to be accessible later for the streetcar, paid parking, etc. Like keeping that whole lane clean, and then all of a sudden, yeah, we're not going to do the bike lane.
Which kind of has my mind going as far as the timing. Like I said, am I tripping, or am I the only one kind of seeing something in the timing that this streetcar authority just announced their route at the same time that Mayor Stothard is announcing this whole bike lane situation
on Tiff Alley? Yeah, I definitely think there's something. I feel like there's something there for sure. Let us know what you think on that. What you think is behind that action, and also for the bike riders out there, let us know what's up, man. I know that we got a few, which is why we brought this article out. We got a few that use the bike lanes all over town that are chat chimers, and so what say you on this issue? You're gonna just take your bike up to Tiff Alley and then jump on a streetcar and go up to the what is it, Market to, what did you say the corridor was called? Market to Midtown.
Yep, Market to Midtown.
Yeah,
from the old Market to Midtown. So
yeah, I mean, which and like a 5-minute bike ride anyway. So I don't know.
In regards to I mean, how many people use it? It does seem like it is an active corridor. It says that it serves about 100 riders per day, and to date, since the program started, about 50,000 trips have been seen on that route. So I mean, I don't really ride bikes, but if people are using it, definitely with the price of gas, I don't blame them.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting stuff. Yeah, we just want to kind of put that out there. Just mention this story, and for those of you who ride bikes all around the city, like, what's your thought on that? And we pulled some very interesting situation out of that that Wanda Lewis brought up for sure. So yeah, we just got to see. Like Stacey Jean says, that's just shady enough to be true. I feel the same way. They said they better put bike racks on the sides of streetcars or something. Yeah, you better do something. Mayor Sanchez says, "Is the streetcar free to ride?" I doubt it will be. I'm not really sure too much about it. Uh,
Highly doubt it.
yeah, I haven't looked deep enough because I'm probably not going to partake.
Let's just call it what it is. They already said it. The whole point of the streetcar is to entice other investors and other businesses and other developers to come into this whole TIF corridor, this whole TIF alley. That's all it is a pretty little bell, a pretty little bow. Like, hey, we're building this TIF alley with a streetcar and a riverfront. Come check us out.
Yeah.
Come invest.
Yep.
Follow the money.
Mama God in the house. Good morning to you. She says, "Is the bike lane on 30th Street being utilized?" We got a couple of chat chimers that say that it is. Brother Mark Manor uses it all the time. A couple of the people I've talked to said they do. Don't really know how much is being utilized more than that second lane used to be utilized, but that was the trade off. Kimber Snipes says, "Just remember, if there is no streetcar, there is no new mutual." I forgot
and
about
I'm
that.
saying,
Part of the deal, right?
like, it's already beginning. The amphitheater, the mutual, it's all the beginning of this whole Market to Midtown TIF alley that they're building. Farnham Street was going on there with the new Blackstone Hotel. Come on, man, it's happening now, and it's not just all bits and pieces. This is part of the larger plan, this 2050 plan that the city has that we have not seen, that we don't know, and we don't know, where North and South Omaha falls in that plan, but it's happening.
There you go. Medicine Song is in the house. She said, "Peace, Kings. Appreciate you. Happy birthday to you too. Belated. Thanks for joining us today. It's going to be a pretty interesting show. We definitely have some special guests that I know that you are wanting to see and hear from and talk to more as well. Not that you already have been, but this is we got the lawyer for the brother who's in jail right now. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. We appreciate it. I'm sorry I didn't get the chance to say that to you yesterday, but happy birthday. And thanks for joining us. Once again, if you're on Facebook, do us a favor and share the show. We get as many people talking as we can. So she said, yes, Dan the Man. That's what's up.
Okay. We got a nickname for him already. We do nicknames around here.
We do. As a matter of fact, I was just wondering if Tiff Alley's going to stick. I wonder.
It's already stuck.
I like it. Von Chapman brings up a good point. The bicycle lane will be seasonal. Wait until it snows. Y'all heard me? Yeah, we got a couple people in the chat that ride in the snow too, though. I mean, it is what it is. But I will say that you're right. Like, this ain't Southern California. This ain't a bike town per se.
And the same could be said for streetcars. Like, what if the rails ice over?
I have no idea the technology of the streetcar. Who knows? Kimber Snipes says, "I told the Mode Shift board that lane on 30th could be used more if people receive proper education ahead of time. That would have been a great discussion with neighborhood associations." I think everything that happens in the neighborhoods needs to be discussed with the associations first. As a matter of fact, Kimber Snipes pretty much taught me that we need to have them kind of conversations first before a whole bunch of stuff gets done. But like you said, in typical Omaha fashion, a lot of stuff happens behind closed doors that way.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's move on from that. It is 7:30 already, if you believe in the concept of time. Man, it's funny, man. It's every time I look at the clock, it swirls around. Like, even my whole brain on the concept of time is even making me look at time differently. I can't read the clock no more. Yeah, we're here and got a lot more to talk about. And of course, I'm keeping track of that because of the fact that we got some special guests that's coming in. So stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, I'm going to jump to a different subject.
Yeah, man. Continue to follow the money, especially what's going on with the city. And shout out to Camera Sister Snipes, who's in the building, who says that this Omaha Public Schools almost has the budget of a small city themselves. and it's getting bigger after this latest announcement that the district's regular general fund spending for 22-23 will increase by $20 million, rising from 690 million to 710 million. And that number does not include spending on programs that the district is ultimately reimbursed for, such as a program providing reimbursement for school meals this year. Spending on reimbursable programs will total 245 million, pushing the overall budget to almost $1 billion. $955 million is the total general fund for Omaha Public Schools. So Sister Snipes was not lying. Again, $955 million. The budget will come with a slight decrease of the district's tax levy by about 0.002% of a dollar from last year to roughly 1.23 per. We're not even going to go through those numbers. The budget lowers our tax levy again, as it has for 6 of the past 10 years. Superintendent Cheryl Logan told the board, financial accountability is a core priority of our strategic plan of action, and budget development is year-long process. Sister Snipes, please explain to us, how does the tax levy play into the board's budget and funding? And give us a little background behind the tax levy.
And if you would rather wait to explain it in person on Women's Wednesday that's coming up here, you can do that as well. But yeah, it'd be nice to have a little bit of backstory on that, because every time we think about what's going on with these budgets now, we think about you, what you had to say about that. That's a lot of money. Is it coming out of our taxes? That is there? What are the decisions being made with that money's being spent on? Are teachers getting hooked up from some of them things? I mean, we got a lot of questions on that now. I never really had questions about OPS budget before, but I certainly do now. It's almost, it's a lot of money we're talking about, almost $1 billion. Kimber Snipes says, so basically Abbie needs to have folks at regular meetings talking about the documenters program, but also budget subcommittee meetings. Right. So, keeping track of what's happening in those meetings is definitely a key to that. And then what can we do with that? Because that's you can have public reaction, but not really a part of you're not part of a vote or anything like that for those kinds of things. Am I right? Let us know. She says Omaha Public Schools budget is larger than the city of Omaha's general fund. Can you believe that?
Jeez.
Yeah, I figured you might want to wait till Wednesday because I know you have a lot to say on this subject as well. But this is something else, man. Like to think about how the proximity, and first of all, everybody's kids are in OPS. Everybody's kids are in schools.
Right.
So this affects that, people directly that way, but it also directs everybody else that lives in the surrounding area with what goes on with that much money. In part of the economy, part of the teachers' pay, there's so many things that are affect, even like you said, part of this goes to like the police budget.
Yeah, and with that 20 million increase, there was a recent overview of the budget, and the financial director did announce that there will be an increase in spending on salary. So hopefully that does get its way to teachers' hands. Also, contracted services. When I hear contracted services, I'm hoping and thinking like after school programs and contracts and paying for people in the community to come and interact with the students. But now that you mentioned the police, like I'm pretty sure that's kind of what they're talking about as far as contracted services increase and the new contract that they just signed with Omaha Police, and also equipment costs. So well, we'll see how that impacts the learning environment for the students. We'll see how that really plays out. But so we're definitely looking forward to our conversation with Abbie and how we can get some more seats and some more eyeballs in these meetings.
For sure. Brother Muhammad in the house says there was a former candidate for school board that tried to tell you the money was funny. Several candidates, as a matter of fact, we had several candidates that were chat chimers that were saying that, bringing these things up. We appreciate your efforts out there as well, Brother Muhammad. Wanda Lewis says, is that the budget for 1 year while Omaha Economic Recovery will get a third of that last us forever? That question?
It's a good point. Yes. The general fund budget, $955 million for 22-23
for a year. So it's $1 billion a year that's happening. Von Chapman says the increased OPS budget doesn't appear to equate to any measurable success in the community at large.
Yeah, that's. I mean, you have $1 billion budget, but we still have issues where buses aren't picking kids up, teachers are quitting in mass.
Right, low level stuff. What's going on with the education in the schools?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and the teacher thing is the thing I'm thinking about more. Is just like you said, we had a mass exodus of teachers. They bring them on, they bring other new teachers on all the time, and they solve problems with like bonuses instead of like pay raises, stuff like that. It's a good question. Kimber Snipe says, how can we harness the economic power of the school districts to improve neighborhoods where kids live? That is the question.
Yeah, man.
Contracting services could be a number of things. Contracting services could have something to do with the people who do food for lunch. Contractor service can be a number of things. Food for lunch is one. I think cleaning services is another.
Yeah.
But yes, also police in schools. There's a lot of different contracts that go down there, which is also very interesting too. Like, how come some of this stuff isn't taken care of by the school district? Like, how many contracts are actually out there? There's so many questions. And the only reason why we have to bring them up is because of the fact that they do really affect the community. They affect the community in a direct way, more direct than a whole lot of things that we talk about on this channel.
Yeah, yeah, and you take in consideration where some of the money is coming from, as far as not just property taxes, which we will get into here in a second, but also the district's, as reported, the district's total revenue is projected to consist of about $286 million in state aid and about $351 million in levy funds. So again, I would like to look more into that tax levy, but 286, almost 300 million, almost a third of the budget coming from state aid. So we know that's tax dollars.
A lot of money floating around here, man.
But where is it going?
And like Von Chapman always brings up, like, how has that helped any of the economic development, or does Omaha look any different than it did 10 years ago? with billions of dollars a year coming through. I mean, billions.
Literally.
The OPS alone got $1 billion a year coming through. We talk about this 335 million, this 450 million that are coming directly to North Omaha, but when you start really looking at money that goes through, that passes through, you realize this is a drop in the bucket almost. I mean, it's a significant amount of money, but it's still like, if that's what they're talking about giving, what's already flowing through? Amy Huffler says they've built multiple new schools. I did read something about they were building some junior high schools, some new elementary schools. They have to employ teachers for that. They have to find teachers for that. I'm not sure what they're doing to find teachers when there's like a mass exodus of teachers going on. I don't know how they're finding new ones.
A few of the administrators who left Central left to go to the other schools. I think one is called Buena Vista. And then I forget the name of the other one. Yeah, but there's like 2 new schools.
Yeah, but this money's going to build a bunch more. Some elementary schools and some junior high schools, what I read. Kimber Snipe says a lot of these contracting services could be filled by businesses that come from our communities.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, that's where my mind initially went. Like, hopefully, because as a kid going to North Omaha, those were the organizations that kept me out of trouble. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Omega Sci-Fi and the Squires program. Shout out to the trio programs and Upward Bound. Like, those are the things that literally kept me out of trouble, kept me out of jail. And, those are people from the community giving back to the students. And if we can find a way to put money in their pockets, that makes more sense than the Omaha police getting an extended and getting a deeper bag.
I'm wondering if too we can make the lunch lady be like Big Mamas or something.
Man, hey, if Mama God is still it's funny you said that. Mama God is still in the chat, man. You took me back to when I went to elementary school for 2 years in Charlotte, North Carolina. We were in the South. Man, we were having collard greens, cornbread, red beans, and rice. Like, I'm telling you, somebody's grandma was really up in the back whipping it up, and I will never forget that experience. So,
can Time Out get the lunch contract next year? Let's see.
Man.
We'll take a quick break. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Up next, Abbie Kretz. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul, Beee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, and all of you, the chat chimers. Shout out to Star Trek Rich and the Weatherized crew as well. Always got our backs. And of course, all of you, the chat chimers, who we consider co-hosts. Really feeling a deep appreciation for y'all right now. Just the fact that we can have so much intelligent conversation in the chat this way, and direct so many good conversations 2 hours a day, 3 days a week. Who else is really discussing the issues like that? Everybody has once a week meetings, once a month meetings, if they're doing that kind of stuff at all. So it really has up to my level of understanding of what's going on in this city to be able to talk to all of you on a regular basis. So shout out to you. Really appreciate it. Raina Williams gives us a good morning with some sunshine. Appreciate that. Kimber Snipes says they had a bond issue on the ballot right before I got on the board. I did vote for it, though. That was a build 5 new schools, 4 of them South Omaha. Okay. She says that was based on my son being in school and his teacher telling me he couldn't even help my son because he had too many kids in the classroom. A problem that happens all over. Mama God says, and I went to his school for my lunch break and ate the food. I heard that. I'd be going to the kids' school too like that.
Like 3 times a week. Like, mom, like they knew her. Like, oh yeah, you Mark's mom, huh?
She said it was so dope, but keep in mind, buddy, 90% of the staff and the principal was black. So there you go. Kimber Snipe is going on with some more things to talk about on this issue. So definitely check that out. Also, Wanda Lewis says I was taken back by the fact that MUD asked for $30 million from Omaha Economic Recovery, and they're one of the richest entities in Omaha. Don't forget that we're paying $55 to $75 extra monthly for the sewer separation project. Creighton University wants a piece of the pie as well. So many issues about where our money is going. It just is really a trip. So we'll definitely keep our eye on this subject and continue on with it. But in the meantime, between time, we got a special guest in the house that is doing some very, very important work. Ladies and gentlemen, Abbie Kretz is here with us.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Hanging in there. Yeah. Doing our best.
Great. That's all you can do.
I forgot to tell people earlier. I took a home COVID test yesterday, and finally is negative according to the home test. So now I'm going to go get a lab test to make sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So hopefully some good news on that. Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate
man.
that.
Get well soon.
Sick of being in this house for sure. So anyway, how are you this morning? And let's introduce you to everyone, because I don't think everybody knows who you are quite yet in the capacity that you're doing work now. So let everybody know.
Yeah, Abbie Kretz. I am the program director for the Omaha Documenters program, and we're now part of a national network, part of Orange with you guys, part of a national network where we get to train and pay people to come and cover public meetings. So a lot of what you all talk here. But just to help kind of increase the public record of what's going on at a lot of these public meetings beyond just city council and beyond just what's in the minutes or what typical media will just go on and cover, like something that's really click-worthy, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So that way we can track it throughout as the meetings go on, and then we're going to find ways to partner with other media outlets or community entities to help get some of that info out there so people actually know what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've talked about the Documenters program on this channel before, but just to kind of reiterate, it's a program out of Chicago that pays people to go sit at stuff like city council meetings, school board meetings, and so on, in order to kind of document what's happening, take notes, and come back and report. In order for reporters, in order for them and other reporters to use that data to really relate to the people what's actually going on in these meetings. Is that kind of a good overview of that?
Yeah, and I think part of what we get to do as well is like report the discussion of what happens as well, because I think a lot of times that is not documented anywhere, and so knowing what folks are actually saying rather than just the vote, it's kind of exciting.
I love it. How much success are you having finding? Are you at the stage where you're looking for people yet?
Yeah. I think I found at least 12 people so far. Maybe my 12 disciples. I don't really like to use the word. They're not mine. 12 disciples. That's my key number. I have a lot of people who are interested in this. And the one thing I wanted to say though too is this isn't just for journalists. It's really anybody who wants to be involved can do it. We're really about teaching the skills that people need to be able to go and track these meetings. And then So we'll be taking them in notes, maybe live tweeting, or then live tweeting later on, and then looking at other ways maybe we can document the information through audio or video, just to look at different media outlets that we can do, or different ways we can track this information.
Yeah, and hopefully that's how we can help with work with you on some of that stuff as well. So
yeah,
definitely. I was going to ask, I mean, 12. That's a pretty good number. You're off to a pretty good start. I mean, it's good. It's good.
That's where I'm going from, like
yeah.
People ask, so I'll just pick that. So sounds good.
So I guess we'll go there. Are there any requirements, or what exactly is the ideal candidate? I guess in your mind.
I would say somebody who just wants to be involved and is willing to learn. Obviously, this is a reporting job, and so you'd have to be objective. So if somebody is going to go to the meetings, we don't want them to talk at the meetings or testify at all. So that's key there.
Okay.
But yeah, anybody who really wants to learn, we're looking at ways to help build skills. So if people aren't really maybe tech literate or like into typing or tweeting, I don't tweet. I'm going to admit that. So, but we can all learn, and even looking at different ways later on that, do people have other skills, maybe not reporting, but would want to edit, or what was I going to say? Maybe help to do presentations or go find other documenters or present the information that we're finding. I think I'm just really looking at, what are different skills and stuff that we all have that we can bring to this work.
Well, let's go ahead and I'm going to jump into the chat real quick because there's some questions that are already being asked that are great questions. Von Chapman is saying, "Hi, Abbie, can we please have a documentary at the Tuesday Omaha City Council meeting so the relevant issues can be discussed on this show on Women's Wednesday?" And that leads me to the question: are you already in the process? Are you still gathering up, or are the people actually sitting doing the work already?
We don't have people yet, so we're in the process of making sure we have all the pieces in play right now, including like the template we use for the documents, training folks. I'll just say it here, we're going to have an orientation online on the 13th. Okay. I can get you guys the info too later on where people can sign up for that, or at least kind of a little Google form so we can track everyone's email if you're interested. But yes, that is one that we want to do. And so hopefully the goal is to start in November. And I'm pretty sure we will be able to start in November and start publishing this stuff.
Sounds good. Also in the chat, Christy, let's see. I'm losing it now.
School board.
Oh, well, first of all, yeah. First of all, Rome's Reviews is giving you some thanks, so appreciate that. Raina Williams says, Anita Ross, this is the show. She's talking. See, people are talking to each other in the chat. That's what's up. Whitney Richardson in the house. How you doing? Good morning. She says, wow, that's a great program. Yeah, we should talk more about it. We actually talked to the creator of the program out in Chicago, and this brother he had a really great idea that took right off, and now it's happening in these other cities. So that's what's up. This is also with the help of our other partner, the Reader. So this is like how I always like to say this. I love it when the partners come together. This is what this is in a big way. So that's what's up. Yeah, super exciting. So yeah, if you have any questions about this program, please put them in the chat while we have her here, because this is what we've been waiting on, what we've been looking for. As those of you that are chat chimers and have been with us for a while know that we talk about these meetings and things all the time. A general consensus is that there's too much closed door activity. We need more people that are actually looking, actually there at these meetings and can report back what's actually being said. A lot of the chat chimers actually do this just because you're interested and you understand the importance and so on. There may be some opportunity there for the people that do this to be paid through the Documenters program to be able to go do it as well, and also continue on with the reporting of these subjects, and that helps us. You bring that information back. We were talking about even having like a Documenters report every week on the show, and so on and so forth, because this is how important this thing is. We definitely want to know about OPS, and would it be appropriate to have somebody, one of the Documenters, sitting in on Omaha public schools meetings?
Yes.
Is that something you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I can kind of go over some of the ones that we're looking at. So part of what we get to do is, full disclosure, and I want to say this so that people feel like encouraged. I am not a journalist by trade, but I'm a community organizer. So that's kind of the skill set I bring into this. So I hope more people feel like they can be part of this, just bringing whatever skill set that they have into this. But there's a lot of boards and stuff that are out there that we're looking at tracking. And so we're just trying to kind of prioritize where we are now to have the most impact and then continue to grow the program. But looking at like the library board, school board here, maybe some other area school boards as well, MAPPA, MAT, county commissioners, streetcar authority, should be fun. Planning commission, even Metro Board of Governors. Some other ones I put on here just for fun, maybe. Like I said, MAT, police and fire pension board is public. The Parks and Rec board, OPPD, MUD. I think some of those, especially those that have regular meetings.
That's tons. That's tons. Madison Song is putting her email address in order for you to talk to her. Email more info if you would. Sorry, we're definitely getting a
troll, some spam
on the YouTube. Yeah, so we'll have to. We're trying to pull those off as we go. You know how important the chat is to us, so we'll try to do our best on that. If this is going to start happening, then we might need to get a moderator to really kind of go through and help out with the situation here. But continue on. We don't want to interrupt what you're talking about here, Buddi. You've had some experience with the documenters program too. Any questions you have that you want to bring out? We really want to try to help big up this program. Let everybody know that this program is here, it's in town, it's existing.
Yeah, I mean it's it's been several years in the works. I actually wanted to also give shout out to DeJuan Lamont Hayes and Noise, who's kind of been also in the works and in the background of making this a possibility. I think kind of DeJuan was really one of the first people that I heard talking about a documenters program, even back in 2020. So to see this finally after 2 years come to fruition in Omaha, I'm definitely excited to see the work that comes out of this and just the change that this can, possibly make as far as people being informed. And we see how hard that could be sometimes. But I am wondering, is this just on a city level? Will there be documenters in Lincoln? Will there be documenters going to county meetings? Where are there bounds, I guess, to where you're reaching?
So right now we're just going to start at the city of Omaha level as well as the county level. I've already been trying to think about other like state agencies that we may want to start tracking too. We talked about Parole Park Board. Maybe like I'm interested in the NEOC, how that rolls out, but different agencies that also exist at the state level, possibly other places as well. It just kind of depends on funding, obviously, and then capacity. And really about that too, it's kind of more like what people want to cover. There's an opportunity to cover the meetings, but then something called special projects that other communities like Cleveland and Detroit have looked at as well. And so it's an opportunity for people who want to dive deeper into certain issues to like do that so we can have more information. Because I think a lot of things are going to come up at these meetings that we're not going to have answers for right there, but is an opportunity to kind of branch off and say, well, what does this look like? And provide that information to people as well.
Also, on the micro local level, like, will there be people at neighborhood association meetings? Will there be people at when we see, like we just had a town hall in North Omaha? Will there be documenters that document those types of interactions?
I can definitely see us going to the town halls. Like there's a public hearing on Monday that I was at for the 1024. So documenting some of those things as well. I think we're going to try to partner more with the neighborhood associations to get the information out there. And in talking to Kimra, it's also for us not to be a replacement for elected officials to go to neighborhood associations. Like we're not gonna do your job, right? But to still get the information out there and help facilitate some of those conversations too, especially if elected officials from other boards aren't going to those.
Okay. Nice. Any openings? Is there room for more than 12?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. People have asked me like, how many do you want? And I just have to pick a number. So.
Okay. Well, and that actually,
can I just say something? We have about 52 agencies that we currently have on the list. And
how many? 52?
62.
Ooh.
I don't know if a lot of them don't actually have public meetings because they're advisory committees for the mayor. But that's how many we have.
That actually brought me to another question. Will you have access to like those types of meetings, or is it just public meetings?
Currently just public meetings, but I'm also trying to, I mean, in theory, right? Aren't these advisory meetings public?
Right. You would think.
I'm just saying. So, but we just don't know like when they meet. It's right now. We're also just trying to decipher when folks meet, so we can make those assignments because a lot of that information is not easy to find.
Hence the documenters.
Yeah.
So that kind of makes me think. Also, that reminds me, where's the funding coming from? That's kind of a big thing, big question here.
Yeah, it makes mostly local foundations at this point.
Okay.
So the big three: Low Shear, Sherwood, and White's right now.
Okay. So the documenters is a standalone nonprofit.
We're with Omaha Institute for Nonprofit Journalism, so we're a program.
Okay, Orange. Okay, program. Okay.
Yep.
And how much are you associated with the original program in Chicago? Is it like a franchise of that, or do you guys get any support from?
I'd say we're more part of a network, and so every month we have network calls. We're able to collaborate on different issues. I'm sorry if you hear a growling. That's my dog.
It's okay.
But we're able to like collaborate and look at ways that we can share information, learn from others. Like I just talked to the director in Cleveland yesterday to see how we can partner and just learn from him on how they've been around for about 2 years now. And so just learning from them how they've done things.
Love it.
And then also, if I can, like we have go to the website documenters.org, and it has a list of all the communities where the program is. And then that's where we're going to be putting assignments. And so the network actually has scrapers, and so they go on. That's why we have all these websites. They go on and like scrape the data from public websites, so we can create assignments.
Oh wow!
So it's really advanced and something I don't have the skill set for. So it's really cool that we can just go ahead and like scrape the information. So that's also why we're kind of trying to assess, like where is all this information at? Because we're trying to dive deep into the website, but it seems that most entities just use the Daily Record to publish their.
Yeah.
Which, most people don't read.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the problems that I had too. First of all, I want to jump in the chat real quick. Von Chapman says for the meetings that are on Zoom or regularly streamed, please have a documentary to cover those as well. Talking about the live stream, the meetings that are public and live stream, so I can understand that. And also I'm kind of thinking about that too as well. Like one of the problems with some of this stuff is so boring. I'm just going throughout like how boring these meetings can be, and how and what you're doing is you documenting all the data from all the boring pieces of the stuff. We definitely want to try to partner and help figure out how to be able to disseminate some of this information, but the dissemination of the information coming from documenters, that's a part of this as well. You don't just collect it, you also put it in reports and things in order to disseminate it out. Who does that dissemination go to? Straight to the public, or does it go to news entities or everybody, or what's the deal with the dissemination?
It'll go to whoever wants access to it. So it's going to be published on our website. Our goal is to at least get the notes back from documenters within 24 hours. And then we'll post it on the web. Hopefully start getting some live tweets. And then we're trying to explore different ways that we can also get the information out there. So is it through a newsletter? Is it coming to talk to you guys once a week or something about these are the things that we're highlighting? I know of other entities that use WhatsApp to kind of get information out to folks as well. And so I'm really open to whatever ideas people have.
I like it. Also, Rome's Review is asking, is Abbie from Omaha? Are you from here?
I'm not originally. I'm originally from Schuyler, Nebraska. But I've lived in Omaha for the last 15 years.
15 years, yeah. Yeah, you've talked a lot about some of the work that you've done before, which I'd love to get into as well. Just let people know real quick, it's 8:01 if you believe in the concept of time. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd. We're on with Abbie Kretz, which is who is with the Documenters program right now. We've been talking about this program a while. It's a program where people will go and sit at some of these city council meetings and other kinds of meetings to document what's being said, not just the vote, but what's actually, who's saying what and what's going on and whose wig is on cricket and everything else, probably. So, uh, Wanda Lewis says, does any of the donors have control over what is covered and discussed? How much input do they have? Big question here for us. Anytime we talk about Sherwood or any other donors, how much control do those donors have over the content?
None. Is it? As far as I know, none. I mean, our point is, again, just to cover the meetings and get the information out there. They're really helping us to kickstart the program, which is great. And so we've had, I've been on for about 2 months now. We've had full range to kind of assist or figure out which agencies we want to cover in terms of like talking to the community too. So.
You've put that list of which ones to cover. They haven't given you any input on which ones to cover or anything like that, right?
They're not even shared on my Google Doc.
Von Chapman is asking, can you have a GoFundMe page? Do you have a page that they can collect donations for this program? Well, yeah.
Okay.
So talking to John Heaston, he's kind of a collaborator in this, and we're always talking about different ways that we can look at raising funds, definitely down the road, but looking at memberships or individual donors at all levels, and because I think what I really like about this is really trying to build up community support too. So it isn't just big funders. That really helps to kickstart stuff, but really seeing how it is community led, community supported as well.
Speaking of community support, what pushback or what buy-in have you received from the city? Have you had any conversation from the city, or have they put up any barriers, for documenters to do the work? I could see, tax dollars going to something like this.
Yeah, I haven't heard any pushback. I've talked to some public officials. I talked to Dan Esch so far, the guy from MAP. I'm still working to get into the city, but Dan Esch from the city clerk's office was like, please, if I'm doing something wrong, tell me. So that's been really helpful, and he's given me some insight and more connections within the city. So not too much. I've personally done some eye rolls about the fact that some meetings don't happen or aren't published, that they're canceled. I'm just saying. So, but it feels like a lot of people are interested in it. So I think the more that we go through it, we'll see what happens, especially as we continue to document and engage people in really what's going on.
I hear that.
Yeah, it would just be interesting to see the level or the relationship that the city has with the documenters program once things actually get documented and disseminated. Definitely seeing the level of communication we have now. You would think the city would buy in to kind of fix some of those things, but only time will tell.
Sorry, I was just thinking about this too. I think the cool thing about being part of the network is that so we go on and like scrape all the information. We're also creating, if people are documenters or not, it doesn't matter, but we're creating like one list of where all the public meetings are. And so anyone can access that and just kind of know like what's going on, because it's super confusing. Like who has a meeting, what time, you really have to do research. So, I think that in and of itself is a really cool tool as well.
Very cool. Before we let you get out of here, we do have another guest coming up here pretty soon, but just want to let the chat chimers know, get used to her face. She's going to be somebody who's going to be on talking. We're partnering with this program with her. We're finding different points of connection so that we can continue to collaborate on some things, because we know that this is something that we have all been talking about we need. And we've been working on trying to get the documenters program here for a while. It's finally here and it's rolling. And so we're definitely going to have her on. And just so that people in the chat know you, because I'm realizing that I've had several meetings with you and I'm getting to know who you are and the stuff that you've done. But in a couple minutes, if maybe you can help run down a little bit of some of the things that you've done before. I just want the chat chimers to get to know who you are. I think we understand about what we're going to be doing with this program, and it's going to be an ongoing conversation. But who are you? First of all, I'll start with this. Where are the best wings in Omaha?
I went to Tracks last week. Those were pretty good.
Tracks?
Yeah.
Uh-oh, we got a new spot.
Oh.
Haven't heard
charred
of this.
And sauce. You got to get them charred.
Charred and sauced. Okay. Anybody has this? So if you got so there you go, people. She got a solid lead on some good wings in the city. Number one. So that already says plenty. But let us know. Give
Not
us a little
expecting that
rundown. Say what?
Expecting that question. I'm glad I went for wings last week.
Yeah, a little zinger.
Yeah, we gotta break it up a little bit. So now that we're on that tip, let us know a little bit about some of the work that you've done, because you've done a lot of community work over the years as well. So let them know who you are.
Yeah. So for about 12 years, I worked as a community organizer with the Heartland Worker Center, and we did a lot of Get Out the Work campaign in South Omaha, expanded to North Omaha, and then worked in about 5 or 6 rural communities with growing Latino populations. And so really just trying to educate and engage voters in that process. I've also done work with them on worker rights. I did my master's thesis on wage theft among Latino immigrant workers. It's a big issue, was a big issue, is still a big issue, and something that's not
Wage theft. Wow.
Yeah. And so I've done that. Before I moved to Omaha, I lived in Peru, the country, not Peru, Nebraska, for 2 years as a volunteer. So trust me, I've gotten that question before. So I mean, I speak Spanish, but and I really liked this. I left the Worker Center in 2021, just needed a break, and was doing some other gig work for a while, accounting, whatever, to get by. And I realized I really missed community organizing and like working, to bring people together, connect. My brain is really kind of just building pieces and connecting puzzles. So this to me is fun. And yeah, I guess I really like this position too, because when I was with the Worker Center, we would always talk about giving away our consent of power. And one way we do that is through lack of information. And I feel like this is a way to challenge that, to help build power as well, because we're getting the information to the people, and people can make more informed decisions about themselves and their families and their lives by knowing more. So.
Acquiesce. We acquiesce a lot and don't know it. Yeah, information.
We have a special place in our hearts for people that grew up in Nebraska and then went somewhere else to see how other people live and do things, and then come back with that knowledge. So that is definitely something that we appreciate about you as well, and the work that you've been doing. That's the beginning of getting to know who you are. We'll definitely do this over time, the times that you come back on and talk about some of these things. But I've been impressed with the things that I've known. I've been learning about you as we have been meeting, and so I just want to make sure that the chat chimers all know this is one of the real ones. Like Kimmer Snipes says, one of the real ones. So Dan Esch is also a real one. So that's what's up. Von Chapman is asking, agendas are usually published ahead of time. Will you have access to these agendas?
Yep. Yeah. And we're going to put all that on the website before the meeting as well, and scrape any other data that might be out there.
Again, what is that website?
Okay. Documenters.org.
Okay.
There you go. Okay.
Documenters.
We'll post that in the chat.
Yep. We'll do that.
And if people are interested, could I maybe share something with you guys later? If you go to oinj.org, and then click the documenter side, you can scroll down, learn more about us. There is a link on there to sign up to get more information. And I can be sure to get you all, if anyone's registered, for the orientation that we have out, or if you just want to talk to me, it'd be great to meet folks for coffee or anything and just talk, to learn what people care about, anything.
Yeah, and you're gonna see your boys on there too, on that orange.org, that org site too. So it's all in the family, man. It's all in the family. That's what this is all about. So really appreciate it. Cater Kitten over there on YouTube is saying Track's wings are amazing. So you've got a cosign on the wings, which is cool. Yeah, Buddy's putting up the site now. This is is this the orange site that you're putting on? Yeah, this Documenters program here.
Yep, and then if you just click under Omaha, you're going to see information about us. We don't have much up there yet, but this is where you can find information about the news, so the meetings that we've already attended, upcoming meetings, and any workshops that we're going to be hosting as well.
That's and you can see where some of these other places are. There's Documenters in Atlanta, Chicago, Cleveland, Detroit, Fresno, and Minneapolis. So that's what's up. So it's growing, it's everywhere, but it's also growing in these certain cities, and we just happen to be the latest one, which is super cool. And I hope this program grows even more. So that's what's up. Appreciate that very much. Appreciate you coming on and sharing what you're doing and what we're doing, and gathering up people. I guarantee there are probably some Chad chimers who want to get with you on this program as well. And if you guys know of anybody who wants to do that, as you can see, they need way more than 12 people. And again, these are paid positions. You want to talk about the pay a little bit? Is that kosher to talk about how much?
Sure, we might as well get that out there because I don't want anybody to think it's fully transparent. We're going to be starting out at $15 an hour, and that's going to include research, so any pre-work people have to do. There will be like a minimum amount for the meetings at least. So if meetings are done in 30 minutes, you'll still get paid the minimum. And then also the time it takes you to edit the notes as well.
The information, right?
Okay.
So about how many hours a week do you consider? Would you say?
Maybe I would say maybe 4. It kind of again depends on how many meetings we have. Super like freelance subcontractor kind of position. So, and it really just kind of depends on when the meetings are, what people's schedules are. And so I think even just having a list of all the meetings that are out there, people can see like what works for them and what doesn't.
Love that.
So, yeah.
I almost find, I almost find this could be a perfect situation for someone who might want to take a day off of work to attend a meeting and can be compensated for their time off work, going to the meeting, even taking a half day off work to be civically engaged. And again, I don't see why this is something that the city wouldn't get behind or wouldn't support.
For sure. That's what's up. Love it. Again, we're apologizing for the trolls that are coming on to the YouTube channel here. We have to make mention that this is something that we don't usually have to deal with because of how we lay out our stuff, but we're dealing with it for the moment. We'll handle it. But just want say again.
I said I hope I didn't bring them on.
Nah, I doubt it. Mama Guy says love it. And love it too. Yeah, this is trust me, y'all. This is a really great program. We wouldn't be trying to hook up with it if it wasn't. We're definitely in partnership with what's going on here. It'll just enhance everything we're talking about here because we can actually get information from some of these meetings and actually hear what people are saying when they don't. And also, I was thinking that this was like a 20-hour, 30-hour a week situation, but no, it's a situation. Yeah, absolutely, we can do that. It's a situation where you might still might just take a couple hours out of your week to go and document this stuff, and it'll be something that you can do on the side, or if you happen to have a job that has certain days off where you can make some of these meetings, it'd be great to coordinate and do that. So hit her up. I just put her email address in the chat, and definitely talk to her more about it. If you have any more questions, hit her up directly, and we could talk about it. And like I say, we'll have you back on again. I'm sure very soon, I'm sure. So anything else, buddy, before we let her go?
No. Again, if anyone is interested, again, that you said the orientation is the October 13th
in the evening. So we'll send out more information about that as well. So getting people's info would be super helpful.
There you go. So you have the email, you have the web address to go to. Definitely check it out if you are interested. We did our job. We brought it to you. So again, let's get active. Let's go document some things. Let's be a fly on the wall. And appreciate you, Abbie.
Oh, thank you so much.
All
appreciate it.
All right, Abbie, we're gonna get some wings from your spot pretty soon. So we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
We'll chat about that next time then.
Charred and wet. Okay.
Sounds good. Have a good one. Peace.
All right. Bye. Thanks.
Peace.
All right. There we go. Miss Abbie Kretz in the house, Documenters program. Let's take a quick break so we can try to get some things in hand here real quick, and then we'll jump out. Yeah, we'll jump out and have some more subjects to come up too, and another special guest in the house coming up very soon. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. All Beee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you, the chat chimers, and a couple of trolls. We'll be right back. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you. Looks like there's going to be some action on Twitter. I like how they're going to be doing some live tweeting. So just in time for us, we have been trying to up our game in the Twitterverse lately, just having some more activity on there. A lot of the news channels use it to put the headlines out there, and we're going to try to do the same. So follow us on Twitter as well. We also go live on Twitter. And of course live on YouTube. As you can see, we've had a whole bunch of activity over there. So eventually we will have to bring on some moderators and stuff like that. The more we grow, the bigger we get. We're going to get more trolls and more things. So we apologize for that. But thanks for bearing with us. We are very proud of what we're doing with this chat. Like I said, we have the most useful chat around. Everybody else's chat channel is full of just ridiculousness, but we have actual people who are contributing very intelligent comments, research. You guys even fact check for us. You guys do a lot in the chat, so we're going to try to keep the chat as clean and cool as possible. We really appreciate you doing that and sticking with us there. So here we go again, my man. Just as soon as I said it, they didn't come back with it. Yeah, troll is like a bot. It's like a automatic thing that they will put on your page and just start throwing out whatever it is their message is, and it just repeats itself and goes over and over again. You have to do a bunch of special stuff to block it from the chat and all that. So the trolls, they try to throw in there and try to sell stuff, and they just jump in your chat and do a bunch of stuff that has nothing to do with our chat, which is kind of what's going on right now. So again, we apologize for that. Everybody keep chiming. Let's keep talking, having conversations, and spread the show if you're on YouTube. And we really appreciate everybody doing that. In the meantime, between time, we have another special guest coming in the house. I was really looking forward to speaking with this brother. This is Daniel Gutman. How are you this morning, my friend?
Great. Thank you. How are you guys?
Very, very good. We appreciate you coming on in and visiting with us today, taking time out of your day. Really appreciate that. I know you're a busy man.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, great. How are you? What's going on with you today? How are you?
Nothing. Everything's good. Just dropped my son off and had some stalls there, so I was worried about getting here on time, but I'm happy I did.
All right. A day in the life.
Yeah.
For a parent, man. Yeah. I understand. But thanks for joining us. Already getting some love in the chat. I believe Cameron Snipe called you a Dan the Man. So yeah.
That's what Ernest called me. So it fits.
You said that's what Ernest calls you?
Yeah, I saw him last night. I went up to he's at Nebraska, the state penitentiary in Lincoln. Every time I walk in, he says, Dan the Man.
Okay. How is he? How's the spirits? How was that visit?
He's obviously disappointed, but for somebody that's been in there for 22 years under the circumstances, I mean, he's navigated these waters before. And so, he's one of the few people under the circumstances that I know that could stay optimistic, but he's staying optimistic, which is good.
That's good. That's good to hear.
Important to keep your spirits high.
Yeah.
For those of you that do not know, Dan the Man is the attorney for Ernest Jackson, who we've been talking about over time here on this show. Was unjustly in jail right now, and we have been trying with the rest of the family and friends in order to just put support behind this efforts of getting him released. And of course, and we've never had the official attorney on, so this is a treat for us right now to really be able to talk to you directly and hear about the efforts that's been going on straight from you, who is right there on the front line. So really, really appreciate that. Medicine Song is in the chat right now. She said, Ernest can teach us a lot about integrity and hope and peace. We keep on learning so much more about this brother. Those of us that didn't know him are learning so much more about him too through our efforts. So we just really appreciate everybody who's down for that. and apparently your name has been ringing out, bro. It's been Dan the Man. We've been hearing this for a minute. So really appreciate you being here. Let us know your journey with this. How did you begin?
Well, actually, I heard about Ernest's case before I went to law school. Actually, in 2010, I started working with a national group in DC, trying to end youth in prison sentences for youth. We're the only country in the world that sentences kids to life in prison without the possibility of parole. And so there's been a national movement for a couple decades now to end that practice. And I was working kind of in legislatures around the country, but I was obviously most interested in my home state, Nebraska. And that's when I first learned about Ernest Jackson and his circumstance. And so I didn't know him personally at the time, but I had known about his case and known about his circumstances back then. And then, fast forward 4 or 5 years, I came back to Nebraska to go to law school here. And one of my clerkships in law school was working for a public defender service who was actually representing Ernest in his resentencing. So the Supreme Court in 2012 said that mandatory life in prison without parole for youth is unconstitutional nationwide. And that granted over 2,500 people a new sentencing, including Ernest Jackson. So Ernest was resentenced in 2014, and I worked on his resentencing as a law student at the time.
Wow.
And most recently, there's a huge group of really great organizers, non-attorneys. I mean, there's some attorneys, but some not, mainly non-attorneys, who are really responsible for getting Ernest's story out. They've done all the groundwork on this. And I got a call, a while back asking if I could get involved, and I was happy to. I was honored to.
Love it. That's what's up, man. So that's the trip. You're saying from way back. You've even known about this case even before you got into the game. So that is really interesting. How long this has been going on. Sometimes we forget that. I do. I forget about like how long he's actually been in there until I see pictures of him as a very, very young man. It's pretty amazing. So let's definitely put it out to the chat if you guys have any questions for the brother, for Dan the man here. Let him know. Let's definitely find out what's going on here. Don Chapman in the chat says, how is it that the parole board can make a decision of this magnitude without comment?
Yeah, that's what we're all kind of grappling with, right? They the parole board instituted a policy recently that they weren't going to hear any testimony from anybody. Not just in Ernest's case, in anybody's case, with commutation applications. And so they don't allow any testimony. They don't allow anybody to speak. Now, we did put in a request. The person that died in 1999, his name was Larry. And he had a 3-month-old son at the time he died. 3-month-old son's name is Michael Smith, and he's 24, and his mom are advocating his release, and they put in to testify at the commutation hearing and make an exception to this rule. And you would think you'd want to hear from the family members of the person that's died, but we didn't even get a response to our request.
Oh, wow. No response
So
to
it's just
the request. Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, you're good now.
So no response for request at all. Is there going to be able to be an opportunity for any kind of responses, any kind of testimonies?
Not with this application. This application has been closed. So now we just got to look forward.
You said he was resentenced in 2014. What is his current sentence? Is he still on a life sentence, or what is his current sentence?
No, he was. And I think that this is important background. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, and I think we need to pause for a minute and reflect on that alone. A child was told by a judge, you are irredeemable. You cannot change. You are sentenced to die in prison. We tell our children that. And Ernest was told that. And
We're losing you, Dan. We're losing you. Kind of broken up there. I'm not sure if you can hear us, but if you're on a computer, you might want to plug your computer into your modem or get closer to the modem. You're breaking up pretty bad there. Okay, he's gonna try to restart here. Okay, cool. Okay, there you go. Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, no problem, man. Are you on the computer at all? Or are you doing this
I just changed the network, so hopefully that's better.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
You actually do look a little clearer.
Okay, good.
Cool. So we got you. We cut off the last thing that you were saying before you got cut off there. What was your last point?
Yeah, I mean, my main point here, and I don't know when I got cut off, but Ernest was told as a child that he was never going to change, that he deserved to be in prison for the rest of his life. I mean, I still think there's a lot of injustices about Ernest's case, his innocence, the fact that he's serving a legally impossible conviction. But the other one to me is he was told as a child by our system that he was irredeemable and deserved to die in prison. I mean, we need to reflect on the fact that we are telling our children that they will die in prison. It is a barbaric practice. And in 2012, the Supreme Court said it was unconstitutional, although it still happens in Nebraska. And he was resentenced in 2012 or in 2013 to 60 to 80 years, which is horrible.
That's crazy, man. That's insane.
Yeah.
Especially knowing that he's knowing that he's innocent on top of that. But even like you say, for Nebraska to just sentence somebody to just life and death in prison that way, even whatever it is that's happened, is just horrible on its own. Especially when you're innocent in the situation, which is just it's unimaginable what he's going through here. Ricketts said something. Wanda Lewis is saying, why did Ricketts say members of the deceased family didn't want Ernest released? Do you know
I'm not as familiar. There's probably some people listening that actually know more about that than me. I can tell you this. Like I said, Larry Perry had a 3-month-old son. That son is now in his 20s, and his mother both are supportive of Ernest's release. I'm not sure who Governor Ricketts is referring to. I'm not sure of
that. And they're supporting of his release because they know who the killer actually was. What's their reasoning for saying that he's innocent?
Well, I think that there's two things here, and this is almost. His case is so alarming and so unjust that it's hard to know even where to start. One thing that people often lose in this conversation is he's got a very strong innocence claim. He is innocent. But on top of that, in addition to that, Ernest is serving a legally impossible conviction. Remember that Ernest was the first of 3 men to go to trial. And he was charged with first-degree murder and use of a deadly weapon to commit a felony. In other words, the government accused him of firing the gun and shooting and killing Larry Perry. Ernest's jury acquitted him of use of a deadly weapon. What that means is that Ernest's jury did not believe that he was the one that fired the shot. They believed that he was an accomplice to a crime, okay? After he was convicted of that, another man, Shalimar Cooper Ryder, had his trial, and he admitted to shooting and killing Larry Perry. And his jury found that the killing was justified as self-defense. Wow. So what does that mean? It means that Ernest Jackson has served over 22 years in a prison cell as being an accomplice to an event that is not a crime. That's legally impossible. You cannot be an accomplice to a non-crime. There's nothing in the law that allows for that. So in addition to Ernest being innocent, and in addition to Ernest being sentenced to life without parole as a child, he is also serving a legally impossible conviction and sentence. And so it's a trifecta. I mean, it's just everything fell against Ernest when he was a child.
Oh my God, that's insane. That's just
so. where are the next steps? Do you reapply? And what legal grounds does the parole board have on making the decision that they made? Definitely being the fact that, you know, his sentencing was now deemed unconstitutional. Is that retroactive?
It is retroactive, but he's already been resentenced. In the eyes of the legal system, he's already gotten what he can out of that, which is the 60 to 80 year sentence.
That's justice in the justice system's eyes.
Exactly. So, you know, I talked to Ernest yesterday about this, and I think that, you know, absolute worst case scenario, and a scenario that we cannot accept, I'll just throw that out there, is that he is up for parole in 2029. And so worst case scenario is 2029, we go back in front of a parole board, so it's a little bit different than a commutation. And we make his case there, but we can't sit around until 2029 and just accept the fact that this is happening. So I think, you know, there's people on this thread who are kind of leading the organizing around Ernest's case. I mean, we have to, and we're going to regroup and talk about what can we do legislatively. Senator Justin Wayne has introduced bills in the past. We need to look at that. And then on the legal grounds, you know, I'm just trying to bring in as many lawyers that will listen and come together and say, what can we do for this man? What are our legal options? And so we're going to have those conversations over the next few weeks, and we'll definitely keep you in touch. You know, keep you updated on what decisions are made. But right now, we're just kind of back to the drawing board.
I have a question. Really quickly, this is something that I've been actually calling for, and having it just dawned on me, having somebody with the law degree with us, it makes the most sense to ask you this question. The state of Nebraska in total, just beyond the Ernest Jackson case, the state of Nebraska, as we all know, is in a overcrowding emergency. They have not really done anything to address that over the last couple of years. In fact, the situation has seemingly gotten worse. We have, as you see with Ernest Jackson, with Ed Poindexter, prime candidates to begin to release candidates. I've believed that Ricketts and possibly Scott Frakes should be charged with something. Do you think that there could be grounds, maybe in United Nations, or there could be grounds on charges for what you're saying with Nebraska's prison system specifically?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know about them personally. I will say that, you know, prisons exist behind big walls and barbed wire for a reason. It's so that we don't know what's going on in there, and we can, you know, kind of shut our eyes and be blind to the injustices that are happening in there. I absolutely think our prison system is a human rights violation.
Thank you.
I absolutely believe that. It is horrific. You know, even some of the vocabulary that we use, such as serving time, things that humanize really barbaric and inhuman activities, right? It's weird because Ernest is only a few years older than I am, and he's a man, right? Now he's a man, but he was a child when he went in. Like, let's not call him a juvenile. Let's not use vocabulary that criminalizes people. He was a baby. He was a child when he went in there. And our system locked him in a cage, and he's been locked in a cage for 22 years. I mean, that's a human rights violation. And, you know, to your question, who bears responsibility for that? You know, certainly the elected officials, but I feel like all of us do. You know, I feel like, you know, we, and myself included, you know, when I was in law school, I kind of looked towards the shiny things and lost track for a little while. And, you know, how can we do this? How can we live with this? With respect to Ernest, I keep asking people, you know, how can we sleep at night knowing that this man is still in there? So certainly there's elected officials that could be held to account, but in some ways, I think we've all got to look in the mirror and allowed this to happen for a long time.
might be a question of like just the question is what can be done. And I'm going to jump into the chat real quick. Von Chapman is asking about the parole board, which you said really is kind of a non-starter until a certain date. But he was asking why is the parole board not required to give a reason for their decision? He's also saying the evidence of his innocence is overwhelming and not taken into consideration by the parole board. Is it more profitable for Nebraska to keep Ernest locked up and thus hide and protect the incompetence in the legal system? Kind of putting it on the parole board for sure. But also a very important question from Cheryl Weston. Appreciate you coming on this morning. Says, can this case be appealed before the Supreme Court? Is it what would stop it from going up to the next court?
So it's actually already been to the Supreme Court. There's, the way that our legal system works is we like to hide behind injustices by procedural things. So, for example, instead of confronting the injustices related to Ernest's case, our courts say, well, you're out of time. The clock has already ticked. And by doing that, it allows them not to have to confront the actual issues. And so Ernest's case was appealed to the Supreme Court after his conviction. And basically the argument is you're allowed for a new trial if you can show newly discovered evidence, right? If there's newly discovered evidence like DNA, for example, you can sometimes get a new trial. Well, after Ernest's conviction, two other people admitted, or one other person admitted to shooting and killing Larry Perry. His lawyers at the time went back and said, well, look, this is newly discovered evidence. We didn't know this at the time of the trial. And the Supreme Court said, it's not newly discovered evidence, it's newly available evidence. And since it's newly available, we're not going to give him a new trial. This is the kind of stuff that we, confront in our legal system. And so Ernest was denied a new trial, even though another man admitted on the stand to shooting and killing Larry Perry. And even though his jury, and let me just pause for a second, because I think there's some people in the chat that I was talking to about this separately. Keep in mind, Shalimar Cooperrider was a young black man in 1999 getting up in front of an all-white jury and saying that he acted in self-defense, and the jury believed him and acquitted him. That was the power of his testimony. That didn't happen a lot then. It doesn't happen a lot now. But an all-white jury determined that Shalimar Cooperrider was justified in shooting and killing Larry Perry. And Ernest Jackson, a different man, is sitting in prison right now for that.
Heavy points, big time heavy points. If those of you just joining us for Sky Omaha in the morning, it's 8:41 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we're sitting here with Daniel Gutman. Am I saying your name right, Gutman?
Yes.
And he's already Dan the Man. So this is Dan the Man that we're talking to right now, attorney for Ernest Jackson. Lots of good stuff going on. We're running out of time, and I want to be able to jump into some of the next moves that are about to happen. I know I talked to Medicine Song. She talked about legislation. She says organizing for LB 28. Stay tuned and please be there moving forward. What can we do to help with LB 28? What is LB 28, and how do we put that in with our next moves?
Well, LB 28, kind of in a nutshell, and we'll look at it and see if there's any tweaks to it, but it goes back to this point about newly discovered evidence versus newly available evidence. And it would allow for people who, if I'm convicted of a crime and somebody later on comes forward and admits to doing that crime, it would allow me to go back in at a later date and advocate for a new trial. In Ernest, somebody else has already admitted to the thing that he is sitting in prison for. LB 28 would help get him another chance at the legal system, another chance at for a trial. In terms of what we can do, definitely stay on the lookout for updates about LB 28. I think Senator Justin Wayne, talking to him, having him talk about LB 28 and Ernest Jackson's story. We just can't let this moment and this story go dormant. You know, we can't let this say, well, we tried and we failed, so we're done now. We've got to keep talking. And the last thing I'll say on that, because this is something, there's another man in Nebraska who some people might be aware of, who was sentenced to death by the state of Nebraska at the age of 17. And then he was sentenced to life without parole, and now he is out. He is an example of the reason why we should not be sentencing children to life in prison without parole. So another legislative fix that we're looking at is, can we look at ending the practice of sentencing children to life in prison without parole in Nebraska? And for those who are currently serving that sentence or who are currently serving other extreme sentences, can we look at a way to get them more opportunities for a second chance, more opportunities for rehearing? And that would include Ernest Jackson. So there is Ernest Jackson specific legislation, and then there's also broader legislation in which Ernest falls under, which is giving children who are serving extreme sentences a second chance.
Man, we're definitely gonna have to have you back.
Stuff.
Yeah, heavy stuff. We're gonna have to have you back and talk more about all these things. I mean, to try to squeeze it all in 15 minutes is just not even possible. This is deep and it goes back very far. So we appreciate everything that you are bringing to light right now. I'm kind of just speechless, man. It's really a trip. We knew it was bad, but like we didn't even get like how bad.
Man.
Yeah. Good question, Von Chapman. Any white folk ever in case law that's ever been in this situation? Is this a spread across all ethnicities in the prison system, or is this really particular to people of color?
Well, it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. There's so many injustices in Ernest's case that I don't know which situations he's talking about, because there's so many. The answer to the youth in prison without parole, extreme sentences, there's certainly white folks, black folks, but it's predominantly black and brown people that are serving extreme prison sentences for crimes committed as youth. So there's all races included in that bucket, but it's like everything in our justice system, it's disproportionately affected by black and brown people. And then last quick thing, I have never heard of a case, black, white, whatever, of anybody serving a legally impossible conviction like Ernest. Remember, he's serving time for being an accomplice to something that a jury deemed justified. I've never heard of that.
Yes, neither have I. That's incredible. It's just it doesn't even click in my brain all the way that's even existing. That's incredible. Pops in the
serving time for crime nobody committed.
Crime nobody committed.
Not even a crime.
Pops in the chat said, "Can the president commute Ernest's sentence? Do we need to raise enough awareness for it to get that high up?"
I wish, because I think that this case could get his attention, but he's serving a state sentence, and the president can only commute federal sentences. So the only person that can commute this sentence is the governor.
And we had a question.
New blood.
We had a question earlier about whether or not we can approach this again after Pete Ricketts is out. Is that a plan?
Absolutely. We can keep filing for more commutation hearings. This is absolutely something we can do. I think that we as a broader group need to get together and figure out what's the best thing we can do.
One
new blood.
One more question. Yeah, we definitely got to keep on talking about new blood for sure. One more question, because I've been seeing some stuff that Dave Pontos has been putting out as well. How much power would he be able to have to turn this over if he gets in?
That's a great question. District attorneys have a huge amount of power. People on this listening might be familiar with the case of Adnan Syed out of Baltimore. There was a podcast about him. He walked free on the same day that Ernest was denied. The reason why Adnan Syed walked free is because the prosecutors got behind his case and admitted to messing up. That office is hugely important for issues like this. So whether it's Dave Pantos or whoever it is, prosecutors yield an enormous amount of power to right these wrongs.
So there you go, client out. Let's get Pontos in. It's funny that you say that. Shout out to Keatron Zykel, who brought this to my attention. This is a case study that we can be looking at exactly directly to that case that you just spoke of, Brother Syed, that just got out. This is almost kind of something that we can look at as an example, as a solution to what's going on here. If we can get behind that particular office and the prosecutors, and they can change some things around, then that might be a way for Brother Jackson to be out as well. So a lot of parallels. They'll go back and look. If you guys have some time, go back and look at that case as well, and check that out, because that was huge that he got out after so many years as well. So deep stuff, man. Medicine Song lastly says there's a bigger plan. Commutation would not clear his name, so there may be a higher power with a cleaner result for our brother. So that's a good. Thanks for bringing that out. I was thinking commutation was the same thing as being acquitted, but not clearing his name to just to have a commutation of his thing. So there you go. Appreciate everybody that is joining on this chat. If you have any more questions, is there any way we can? Is it going to the sendearnesthome.com? Is that the best place to send questions and stuff for you? Are you connected with that organization as well?
Yes, I am. Yep.
Okay, cool. So Medicine, I'll put that in the chat, sendearnesthome.com. Definitely check that out for more information and to get a hold of them and figure out what we can do. Marianne Williams says, Syed's story was made famous on the Serial podcast. If you haven't listened to it, this is what I'm talking about. When I say, does it need to get up to the president? I'm thinking, does there need to be a documentary film made, to influence what can happen here for the brother, and that we can do that's up our alley to do, which is stuff like documentary film and coverage. So yeah, I can see in this country that kind of is the thing. How much exposure this gets sometimes changes outcomes and changes people's minds. As a lawyer, what can you say to that?
Oh, there's no question about it. I mean, we like to sometimes pretend that judges are robots and they just look at a book and apply the law. But the reality is they watch the news and they listen to stories just like everybody else. And so the other part of this is we've got to be talking about it. If we can get people, the podcasts, the documentaries, those kind of things, those go a long way. At the end of the day, here's how I look at it. It's very easy in this country to shut your eyes to injustices, to shut your eyes and close yourself off from things that you know are going wrong. What podcasts and these storytellings, they do is they don't allow us to do that. People in our state often say, I used to do civil rights law down in Alabama. People here say, oh, well, that happens down there. That's not us. No, it does happen here. We need to confront that. The state needs to confront Ernest Jackson's story, and the media platforms is definitely gets us there.
You got our wheels turning. Appreciate.
Yeah, man.
Thank you very much. Looks like Medicine Song says there's already a podcast coming, so might need to be a film coming next. We'll see what we can do on all levels. But we'll definitely have you back. We really appreciate you coming through and let you get about your day. I'm sure you got a lot going on today, so we'll let you get back to it. And thanks you so much for taking the time, Dan the man.
Dan the man. Thank you.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man.
No problem.
We will definitely have you back around very, very soon. So
yes,
we'll let you go. Stay tuned. We'll take a quick break and come back and let Dan get on his way. Thanks a lot, man. Really appreciate it. Peace.
Thank you very much.
Peace.
Right on. All right. I don't know what's going on with our program.
It's like we're one head. Like
little Siamese twins going on here.
Yeah.
Cheryl Weston says overcrowding will continue in Nebraska as long as we sit back and not vote. We allow election officials like outgoing Governor Ricketts, his paid, hand-picked candidate Jim Pillen elected. Yeah, man.
And that's exactly what I'm thinking about. We have an opportunity. We know somebody in this chat who has the opportunity to commute. Again, he said the governor can commute. So if we vote, if we get Carol Blood in,
yep, And
Maybe she'll do it.
Dave Pontos, we can't forget about him. He just clarified how important his role is in that particular job is. So yeah, we gotta think about it. We got the election coming up. Perfect timing for that. As a matter of fact, when we come back from the break, we'll take a look at some of those dates, the election dates that are coming up, and see if we can get some things rolling. But in the meantime, between time, let's take a quick break. Again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul Beee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you co-hosts, chat chimers, stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul Beee, Buddi3 Da Gawd. Man, what guests we had on today. My goodness. Rome's review says, I want to see you guys do the Sesame Street thing with the two heads saying words or act like you're passing things to each other. Hey,
here you go, man. Here you go.
That's the. I got a word here. I'm gonna bounce it over to Buddy. We might get into some of the text going on. Some of the tech happening. Appreciate you. He says, thanks, Doc. Wash hands. It's going down, man. It's going down. Dan the man is the dude. And also really appreciate. I forgot to ask before we got out of here because I think I believe it was. Who was that was asking about a donation situation?
I believe Brother Von Chapman asked about a GoFundMe.
Yeah, Wanda Lewis says, how are you being compensated for your time? I wanted to ask that and forgot. Said Ernest Jackson, is there a GoFundMe? As you can see, man, we got people in our chat that we're ready to take action. We just don't just talk about these things. We want to put our money where our mouth is and everything else. So yeah, I'm sure that if Medicine Song is still on, you can tell us where to go to make a donation to the cause. And next time we'll have Dan the man on, we'll ask him about how he's getting compensated there as well and how we can help. As you can see, lots can be done. And you got my wheels turned about this documentary idea for real.
Man.
I listened to that podcast about brother Saeed, and that was like, first of all, it's like it was the number one podcast of all time, the most award-winning number one podcast listened to of all time. It was called man, I can't remember the name of it now.
Someone in the chat just mentioned it.
Yeah, but it was heavy because when you went through it, and they did it like a movie, man. So every time they came out with a new one, everybody was clamoring over to the podcast like, we got to hear the next episode. They did it episodically, and it was powerful, and it was powerful enough to change people's minds about whether or not this brother was innocent. And it took a few years later, but it worked. So
the Serial podcast,
number one podcast of all time. That's how popular that was. So it really takes that, man. It's like these days it takes the whole world to put a Black Lives Matter sign up just to get some justice.
Yeah. I mean, look at what surviving R. Kelly did to the R. Kelly situation. Like the media can definitely play a role in either setting somebody free or locking somebody up.
If people don't believe in the power of consensus, people it can be used in bad ways, but at the same time, like if that's the only recourse we have to make some change, then let's use it, because what else can you do? What else can you do?
Yeah.
Wanda Lewis says, I keep Miss Erica Felton in your thoughts and prayers. She's going through some rough times with chemo. Yeah, sorry to hear that. Definitely hit her up on that Meal Train app as well. Let me grab that real quick and put it back in the chat. Um, because we still need to help her out, and she's getting ready to have to do some other stuff now. That's gonna hit her up on the Cash App directly. That definitely helps too. But also the Meal Train app, you can hit her up and schedule something on that Meal Train app to bring her food or get food delivered to her. And it probably is better just to hit her up on the Cash App for the direct cash. But you have the option there in the Meal Train thing too. Let's help her out. We're also looking at, because now this is going to be extended. She thought she was going to be back to work in October, and it's going to be probably April before she can really get back to her business. So she's going to need some help. But she did say to me that there's the things that she can be doing from home. So if we come across any jobs and things like that that she can do remotely from home, we can hook her up that way as well. But until she can, after she got to get past all this health stuff first, and we really need to help sister out on this one. So please keep her in your thoughts and your prayers, but not just that. Keep her in your accounts too. Money sign Miss Erica's, and also hit the Meal Train deal there too, and make sure that you're helping this single mother with her own business that's really helping our community out by taking care of the young ones. And then is a Chad Chimer and a family member and a friend of First Sky Omaha. Let's really help her out as much as we can. And just like we would do for all the rest of us if something went down. So looking out for each other here as a family, really appreciate it, man. We really some things have come to light in this past couple of days that made me really look at what we have here with the Chad Chimers, what we have here with you guys. You guys are our co-hosts. You guys are family. We've built a family of people that can talk about these things deeply and make some moves and have each other's back on a whole bunch of stuff. And really, I guess low key, that's what I was looking for in life. That's what fulfills me as in work, is to be able to work with some folks like that. So it is what it is, man. Appreciate y'all for real.
It's a beautiful thing. We definitely love and appreciate y'all, and make sure we say it, not just because it sounds good, because that's how we really feel. This show would not be the same. This experience would not be the same without you. So thanks. Big shout out to all the everybody, first time listeners, last time listeners, chat chimers, even the ghost listeners that's just going about doing their thing, listening, having conversations with their family and their communities, because that's what it's all about, man. Let's continue to have these conversations and continue to support each other.
There you go. We only got actually it's 9:00, man. Wow.
Yeah, man. All right. Extended time for the haps. What?
I was gonna say maybe a little. Maybe we got to go at least a minute or two on the haps. What's the haps? I mean, we always like 5 minutes late. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen.
Anyway,
we'll just run through them real quick and let you get on about your day. We'll be very, very sorry for running so late, but it's kind of worth it today, man. We had some guests on that we needed to get down to the bottom of some things for real. We want to put these dates up. That's really the main thing, man. Is the key dates for this November 8th election. If we can leave you with anything, then leave you with new blood. And sounds like Brother Pontos needs to get on in too for some things to happen.
Man.
So where are we at?
That's been a thing.
It's been a thing. September 23rd right now, if you believe in the concept of the calendar. And according to this, we have to. October 21st is one of the first. Well, first of all, let's see. What's the early in-person voting? It can start on October the 11th through Monday through November 7th. So that's number one. The last day to register online at state agencies and postmark voter registration form, October 21st. That was the last day. What is this? We're still in September. We got some time here. Okay, so last day to register in person at county election offices is Friday, October 28th. Deadline to request early voting absentee ballots is Friday, October 28th as well. So we got a little time for that card that came in. If you want to get a mail-in ballot, you still have time to do that too. And also early in-person voting in county election offices, Tuesday, October 11th through Monday, November 7th. Hours may vary by county. Also, I really encourage you guys to look and see what where your voting place is, because they try to change that on you all the time too.
Man. So, yeah.
And of course, election day is Tuesday, November 8th. Polls will be open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Okay, I'm going to put the Mountain Time down there. If you need some more information, sos.nebraska.gov under elections. And definitely check out what you need to, and keep this posted, keep this up so you know what you got to do and when you got to do it, so we can kind of make some change around here in a way. So in a big way. So I'll leave it at that, man. You know, we'll put more haps in the chat about some things that's going on. So let's leave it at that and let people get on about their day. For real. Buddy, you got some words for the peoples?
I mean, as always, big shout out to Abbie. Big shout out to Dan the man for coming through and speaking with us. So definitely appreciated you two and your conversations. Big shout out as always to the chat chimers. The show would not be the same without you. The fam, the co-hosts, we genuinely love and appreciate y'all and are definitely working on some things behind the scenes for you. So definitely keep an eye out for that, and tell a friend to tell a friend. I've seen a few people in the chat bringing on some folks, so continue to spread the word. We have grown to this point organically, which is not a small thing, man. We have not done any major campaigns or anything, which we are working on, but again, this is all organic, this is all natural, this is all real, man. So we appreciate y'all and we love y'all. I'll be at a Revolt Summit this weekend, so hopefully I have some content, have some things to bring you next week. But in the meantime, in between time, take care of yourselves. Miss Erica Feld is not here, so I will say it for her. Drink water, check your titties, all those good things, man. So we appreciate you. We love you. Paul B, take it away.
And that's the thing I really want to talk about too, is that, you know, we really realize what a family this is. We know that if Pops isn't one of the first one to say hello in the morning, then we need to check on him. We know that if Miss Erica Felt hasn't chimed up yet, then she's probably going through something. So, you know, and you know why? Because we know what's going on in each other's lives. And that's what a family and that's what some friends is about. Whitney Richardson said, yes, the First Sky community is amazing. And I totally agree. So I appreciate you very much. Pop said, tremendous show. What a way to end the week. Thanks, guys, and First Sky fam. Everyone have a great weekend. Von Chapman says, ending my week with the First Sky is so satisfying. Thank you so much. Appreciate you very, very much. Brother Muhammad says, brothers, thank you for all you do. Assalamu alaikum. Be safe. Alaikum salam. Peace.
Alaikum salam.
Peace to all of you. Thank you so much for everybody who is joined us. Everybody that is a reoccurring member and sponsor of the channel as well. You guys don't just chat, chime, and come through. You guys also come through with donations and everything else to help us keep this going. So go to firstskyOmaha.com, hit the donation button if you're so inclined to help us keep this rolling. We really appreciate everything that you do, all your efforts. We want to give thanks to the Omaha tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Shout out to our elders for allowing us to speak before them. Shout out to you, all the chat chimers, all the ghost listeners, all the supporters, and everybody else, all the what we call the squad. You guys are part of the squad too. It's not just Augie Kid and Weberized. It's all the chat chimers, man. The squad, whole squad. Appreciate you. Have a great weekend. Take care of yourselves. Supposed to be a nice, cool weekend. Be safe. COVID is still happening no matter what President Biden just tried to act like is not happening no more. It's definitely happening, so be safe. And hopefully we'll see you out and see you soon. Marianne Williams says, great show. As always, folks, have a great weekend. You too. Really appreciate it. Thanks, Brooke, for the great show. Appreciate it. Can't do it without y'all. So thank you so much for that. And we will talk more again Monday. So take care of yourselves this weekend and we'll see you. Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious, this is protected by the red, the black, and the green.